Welcome to Class 2 of English 101. Last week we did a review of all the different parts of speech. Looked at the definitions of those parts of speech and examples and sentence examples as well. And then we turned our attention last week to nouns and gave specific attention to nouns and the different classifications and categories of nouns. Today and the next week, we're going to give our attention to pronouns. Pronouns serve a very important part in a sentence. The definition of a pronoun is simply that a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun in a sentence. There is a word in the sentence that a pronoun stands for, and that word is called the pronoun's antecedent. It's the noun that the pronoun replaces and points back to. Listen to this paragraph. Bob Brown is an avid deer hunter. Bob Brown loves to go to Bob Brown's deer stand early in the morning. So, before Bob Brown's wife, Judy Brown, awakens, Bob Brown has already gotten up, dressed in Bob Brown's camouflage overalls, and made Bob Brown's way to Bob Brown's car. Judy Brown knows that Bob Brown will return about noon, so Judy Brown has Bob Brown's lunch ready and waiting for Bob Brown's return. Bob Brown is very blessed to have Judy Brown for Bob Brown's wife, and Judy Brown loves the delicious venison Bob Brown brings home from Bob Brown's hunt. That sounds just lovely, doesn't it? Not so much. Let's give it another try, this time using pronouns. Bob Brown is an avid deer hunter. He loves to go to his deer stand early in the morning. So, before his wife, Judy Brown, awakens, he has already gotten up, dressed in his camouflage overalls, and made his way to his car. Judy knows that he will return about noon, so she has his lunch ready and waiting for his return. Bob is very blessed to have Judy for his wife, and she loves the delicious venison he brings home from his hunt. That sounds quite a bit better than the redundancy of the repetition of the first paragraph, doesn't it? Now, in this paragraph, we have two antecedents, Bob Brown and Judy Brown. Each of these nouns are then followed by pronouns. The antecedent, Bob Brown, the pronouns are his and he. The antecedent, Judy Brown, is followed by the pronoun she. It certainly helps to have pronouns so that our sentences are not redundant repetitions and rather tedious and boring. So, we want to give our attention today to pronouns, and as you can see on the chart here, there are several different categories of pronouns. We have personal pronouns, relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, reflexive pronouns, intensive pronouns, reciprocal pronouns, and indefinite pronouns. It's going to take us quite some time to get through all of these different categories. As a matter of fact, today we're only going to look at the first of those 8 categories, the personal pronouns, and then next week we'll come back and give our attention to the other 7 of these categories of pronouns. Personal pronouns are identified in several different ways. First of all, personal pronouns have person. We have first person, second person, and third person. Now, there's a very easy way to remember the distinction between the 3 persons of pronouns. First person pronouns identifies the speaker, the one speaking. And these personal pronouns are I, me, we, us, my, mine, our, ours. Second person pronouns are the pronouns to whom the speak goes. It's the person spoken to. These pronouns are you, your, and yours. The third person pronouns is the person spoken about in the sentence. He, she, it, they, him, her, them, his, hers, its, their, and theirs. Oftentimes we get rather confused about the person. But if we can remember very simply that first person is the one speaking, second person is the one spoken to, and third person is the one spoken about. So anytime we come across a personal pronoun in a sentence, then we can ask the question as to the role they're playing in the sentence. Is this person speaking? Is this person being spoken to? Or is this person being spoken about? And that helps us to identify first, second, and third personal pronouns. Not only do personal pronouns have person, but they also have case. The case of a personal pronoun concerns the function of the pronoun in the sentence. And there are three cases of personal pronouns. First of all, we have the nominative case pronouns. These are usually identified as subject pronouns, and they are I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. The second category is objective case, and these are object pronouns, and these are always the object of the verb, the preposition, or infinitive, and never the subject of the sentence. And then thirdly and finally, we have the possessive case. Possessive case shows ownership. These are used to show ownership, answering the question, whose? My, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, its, our, ours, their, and theirs. So, personal pronouns have person, first person, second person, third person. Personal pronouns have case, nominative case, objective case, and possessive case. Now, the nominative case used as a sentence, subject in a sentence, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. And here are a few examples of nominative case pronouns. I missed class yesterday. I is the subject of the sentence. They were not able to attend the concert. They is the subject of the sentence. We thought the program would begin at 8 o'clock. We is the subject of the sentence, personal pronoun. John and he went into the tomb. So in this, we have a compound subject, John and he. And the he is a personal pronoun in reference to someone other than John. The same thing is seen in the next sentence. Susie and she are running in the marathon. And finally, both they and we were in the library at the same time. Two different prepositions used in the nominative case. Nominative case pronouns can also be used as predicate nominative in the sentence. And again, these are I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and who. Predicate nominatives follow the verb and rename the subject. The last group to sing will be they. The last group. Group is the subject of the sentence. Last is an adjective identifying the group. The last group to sing will be they. They is referring back to group, and so it is a predicate nominative, renaming the subject of the sentence. The singers in the quartet are Randy, Keith, Tim, and I. Randy, Keith, Tim, and I. All of that is predicate nominative in reference to the singers in the quartet, and I is the personal pronoun identifying me as part of the quartet. Is it he who went to the doctor? He is predicate nominative, identifying the one who went to the doctor. Now let's give our attention to the objective case. Objective case pronouns are used as direct objects and indirect objects. These pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. The Sanhedrin questioned Peter and them about Jesus. The Sanhedrin questioned Peter and them. It's direct object. Show my family and me directions to the theater. The guide gave Teresa and him a tour of Cowboys Stadium. The aged father watched Bobby and her carefully. Please teach us students how to interpret the Bible. All of these pronouns are in the objective case, being used as direct and indirect objects. Now the objective case used as objects of a preposition. And again, these objective case pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. The service began without Bobby and him. The preposition is without. Without him. And this sense is compound, Bobby and him. But again, the pronoun is in the objective case, and it's serving as the object of the preposition without. The golden rings belong to them and us. Again, the preposition to. The golden rings belong to them and us. Is there any fried chicken left for Kathy and me? For me, so it's the object of the preposition for. Did you realize that everyone was present except Sharon and her? Sharon and her are objects of the preposition except. They took the awards away from him and Tom. And again, we have the personal pronoun him as object of the preposition from. So, in the objective case, used as objects of a preposition. Now, we also note that personal pronouns have the possessive case. And the possessive case pronouns simply show possession. My, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, its, our, ours, their, and theirs. That sandwich is mine. It is obvious that Randy's book is the corrected edition, but is hers? Is this English book his or yours? Maggie May is our dog, not yours. Now, note down at the bottom of this slide, possessive pronouns can also serve as adjectives rather than pronouns. An example of that is my book, her answer, his sweater, our dog. So, possessive pronoun words can serve as adjectives. My book is an adjective identifying whose book it is. her answer, an adjective defining whose answer it is. His sweater, our dog. So remember that pronoun words can also serve as adjectives rather than pronouns in a sentence. Don't make the mistake in the possessive case of adding an apostrophe to possessive pronouns. Yours, hers, theirs, ours do not have apostrophes. Now this week we have just simply given our attention and consideration to personal pronouns. And as you can see on this repeat slide, there are 8 different categories, classifications of pronouns. Besides personal pronouns, we have relative, interrogative, demonstrative, reflexive, intensive, reciprocal, and indefinite pronouns. We're going to give our attention to all the other 7 of these categories in next week's study. I would advise you to go ahead and read ahead some in your textbook on pronouns, just to help you sort of get your mind flowing in the direction of looking at these different categories. And we will study these in next week's lecture. Give your attention to your homework assignment and be timely and diligent in getting those assignments turned in by the deadline, which is Monday night at midnight, following the Tuesday in which you have received your assignments. And again, if you have any questions or any concerns about anything that we're discussing, then please give me an email or a message on Moodle through the student portal, and I will get back with you just as quickly as I possibly can. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I encourage you to stay up on your studies so that you don't get behind and find yourself in catch-up mode. And I will look forward to our class again next week. God bless. See you then.